craziness going on with our funk brothers and with the groups, splitting up and doing this and doing that.
The members of Cameo were all set to take over the world, but their lives and end turned out to be tragic and sad.
We split down, cut it down to 5 and did into 3, but things happen, and the guys were still friends with everyone, so people just go on and do what they do, and it's all good.
Like, these guys were not only being exploited, they also had to take legal action against their lead vocalist, Larry Blackmon, for keeping royalties from them, using the band's name for himself, and treating the crew unfairly.
Let the music videos fool you, because sometimes you think that people are cool like that, but them dollars, the cents, and attitude kicking away, and I thought,
On top of all that, founding members kept leaving, and with each conflict, the group's image took a hit. Fans can't help but wonder, what could have been if all that drama hadn't gone down? Let's take a closer look.
You guys had very rough beginnings, right?
Yeah.
Is this you saw a murder committed once?
Well, a person was shot in full eyes view in this place in Queens.
Cameo was a funk band formed by Larry Blackmon in 1974. At first, the group called themselves the New York City Players. They started playing in clubs and small places. In 1975, a big record company called Casablanca Records signed them. The label put them under its special division called Chocolate City. They started using the name The Players. But soon, there was a problem. Another record company, Mercury Records, said the name The Players was too close to Ohio Players, a group they worked with. So, the band had to change their name. One day, while in Canada, the group saw a pack of cigarettes called Cameo. They liked the name and decided to use it. Before all this, Larry Blackmon had already played in another group. That group was called East Coast. Larry worked with Gregory Johnson and singer Gwen Guthrie. Other band members were James Wheeler on saxophone, Melvin Way on bass, Michael Harris on percussion, and Horace Fire on trombone. In 1973, East Coast made one album and released it through a small label called Encounter. They had a good ride, and just like most bands, they had issues.
We had 13 members, or maybe 15, 16 members at one time during the days when we had horns and, the Cameosis days and the...
Over time, problems grew between the people in the band. These problems made several original members leave. It changed the way the band looked and sounded. At the start, Cameo had many members. They worked hard, made music, and went on tours together. But as they became more famous, they also started having disagreements. One big issue was money. Some members felt they were not getting their fair share. They believed that the money from songs and shows was not being divided properly. This made people upset. There were also arguments about decisions in the group. Some members did not agree with how things were being handled, especially by the band's leader, Larry Blackmon.
Larry and I are the only original members that are still here. Him and I started the group together.
Larry Blackmon was the frontman of the group. He was known for his high-top haircut and strong stage presence. Many fans saw him as the face of Cameo.
Do you know the NBA adores you? Do you know you played all through their locker rooms?
Oh yeah, Magic Johnson is an avid Cameo fan.
As time went on, Larry started taking more control of everything. He had the final say in many decisions. Some original members felt left out. They thought they no longer had a voice in the group. This made the tension worse and led some of them to walk away. As members started leaving, the band changed. New people joined, and the group kept going. But it was not the same anymore. Fans noticed the difference. The feeling of the old Cameo was not there like before. Some fans still supported the new version of the band, but others missed the original team. The change in the group's lineup made it harder to keep the same energy they had in their early days.
We split down, cut it down to 5 and did into 3, but things happen, and the guys were still friends with everyone, so people just go on and do what they do, and it's all good.
Years later, some of the original members tried to get back together. They wanted to do reunion shows or maybe make new music, but they ran into trouble. Larry had full control over the name Cameo. He owned the rights to the name and did not want anyone else using it. When the former members tried to use the name, Larry took legal action. This made reunion plans very difficult. The old members wanted to perform together under the name that made them famous. But they could not do it without Larry's permission. Some tried to use other names, like original members of Cameo, but that also caused problems. Larry's lawyers stopped them, saying it was still too close to the original name. These legal battles stopped many shows and upset a lot of fans who just wanted to see their favorite group together again. The fight over the name did not stay private. It became public. News stories talked about the arguments. Some former members spoke out in interviews. They shared their side of the story and said they were treated unfairly. They believed they helped build Cameo and deserved the right to use the name too. On the other side, Larry Blackmon said he had kept the group going for many years and had the right to protect it. The back and forth was messy and made the group look bad to the public.
Craziness going on with our funk brothers and with the groups, splitting up and doing this and doing that.
These public fights hurt Cameo's image. Instead of talking about their music, people started talking about their problems. Some fans were confused. Others were sad to see a group they loved fall apart in such a way. The legal battles and harsh words showed that the problems in the band ran deep. They were not just small disagreements. They were serious issues that had lasted for many years.
I had a buddy of mine a long time ago who did a gig in Atlanta, back with an Atlanta artist when he had his label there, and said that Larry always had this employer to employee kind of situation.
Some people who used to be in the band Cameo said they were not treated fairly. They believed the leaders of the band cared more about money and fame than about treating everyone right. The complaints didn't stop there. The same former members also said that some people in the band were treated better than others. They said that Larry, the leader of the band, gave more chances and support to certain members. Others felt left out and ignored. This made people feel like there was favoritism going on. Some said it felt like they were not part of a team anymore, but just there to help a few people shine. These feelings grew over time. People started to feel upset, not just because of the money, but because they felt disrespected. They wanted to be treated as equal members of the band.
So I follow Gregory Johnson. He's a good member of Cameo. He was one of the original members. And the whole lawsuit, the whole thing with Larry Blackmon is a mess.
4 former members of the band later sued Larry. The former members say that Larry kept money that was meant to be shared with them. These 4 men, Nathan Lieutenant, Arnett Lieutenant, Gerald Bright, and Gregory Johnson, say they are owed unpaid royalties. Royalties are money artists get when their music is played or used. The 4 men say Larry collected royalties from their old songs but did not give them their part. Instead, they say he kept the money for himself. They believe this is unfair and wrong. So they went to court and filed a lawsuit.
Music videos fool you because sometimes you think that people are cool like that, but them dollars, the cents, and attitude kick in the way. And I thought, same story about Larry.
The lawsuit says Larry took around $103,000 in royalties. This money was supposed to be divided among the group, but the other members say they got nothing. They feel betrayed. They trusted Larry to do the right thing, but now they feel he lied to them. They are also asking the court to make Larry pay more money. They want an extra $1 million in what is called damages.
Craziness going on with our funk brothers and with the groups, splitting up and doing this and doing that.
The lawsuit also talks about Larry using the Cameo name for his own shows. The other members say he did this without asking them. For example, in 2015, Larry started doing shows in Las Vegas under the name Cameo. He performed alone or with other people who were not the original members. The 4 men say they were left out. They say this is not fair because they were also part of the band when it became famous. They believe they have a right to use the band's name too, or at least share in the money made from it. There have been many cases in the music world where people fight over who owns the name of a band. This is not something new. For example, The Temptations had a fight like this too. Dennis Edwards and Ollie Woodson, both former members, had a disagreement about who could use the group's name. Dennis wanted to use the name for his shows, but Ollie had a different idea. These kinds of fights often happen when a band has had many members over the years. It is a reminder that behind the fun and fame, there are real people dealing with real issues. We will have to wait and see what the court decides. But one thing is clear, this fight is not just about money. It is also about respect, trust, and what it means to be part of something special.
Same story I heard about Larry Blackmon, the same story I heard about Prince, and the same story I heard about Rick James and Maurice White over from the fire.
When Cameo first started, their sound was heavy funk, but you could tell they wanted their music to be fun and easy to dance to. Their first album was Cardiac Arrest. It had a hit song called Rigor Mortis. The album did well. Then Cameo made more albums like We All Know Who We Are, Ugly Ego, and Secret Omen. These albums had popular dance songs like I Just Want to Be, and It's Serious. The song It's Serious was even used in a dance contest scene in the movie Thank God It's Friday.
Thank God It's Friday, rated PG. Now playing at a tip.
The band also had a song called Find My Way, which was used in the same movie. That song was a remake of an older tune from the early 1970s. In 1978, Aaron Mills joined the group. He played the bass guitar. Before Cameo, he was part of a jazz funk group led by Donald Byrd called NCCU. That group toured with Cameo. Larry Blackmon liked how Aaron played and asked him to join Cameo. This added more power to the band's sound. In 1979, the band finally got a big break. Their song, I Just Want to Be, became a major hit. It reached number 3 on the Billboard R&B chart. Another song called Sparkle also did well. These hits helped their album Secret Omen sell over 500,000 copies. This made the album go gold, which means it was a big success. The next year, in 1980, they released Cameosis. This album was even bigger. It had songs like Shake Your Pants, We're Going Out Tonight,
And I knew that when we met, we're going out tonight.
and Why Have I Lost You?
I'm still lonely.
That last song was a new version of an older track they did in 1978. Cameosis reached number 1 on the R&B chart and number 25 on the pop chart. The band was clearly on the rise. They released another album called Feel Me. Then they followed with Knights of the Sound Table in 1981 and Alligator Woman in 1982. All 3 albums did well and reached gold status. These albums showed that the band liked to try new styles. In 1983, 3 members, Aaron Mills, Thomas T.C. Campbell, and Gerald Bright, left for a short time. They started a side group called MCB, but they didn't stay away for long. In 1984, Cameo dropped a new album called She's Strange.
I like the way she walks, I like the way she talks, and she turns me on with a special concern. Now I'm a
This album was a hit. It reached number 1 on the R&B chart and number 26 on the pop chart. The title song, She's Strange, became their first number 1 hit on the R&B chart. It was also their first song to do well on the pop chart. It reached number 47. People liked the band's sound and style. Larry Blackmon's voice and the band's funky beat were a strong mix. Then Cameo released Single Life in 1985. This album had 2 big songs, Single Life and Attack Me With Your Love. These songs kept the band moving forward. The album reached number 2 on the R&B chart, but the best was yet to come. In 1986, they released their biggest song ever, Word Up. It hit number 1 on the R&B chart and number 6 on the pop chart.
New album is Word Up, right? Yeah. And when you do a second song from the video, oh, that's great. Thank you very much.
Quick, mama, come on, baby, tell me what's the word.
Everyone was dancing to it. The next song, Candy, also hit number 1 on R&B and number 21 on the pop chart. Then they released Back and Forth, which reached number 3 R&B and number 50 pop. The album Word Up also did great. It was number 8 on the Billboard 200 and number 1 on the R&B chart. This was the highest chart position they ever got. In 1988, they released another album called Machismo. This album didn't do as well. Critics gave it mixed reviews. It landed at number 10 on the R&B chart and number 56 on the pop chart. Still, the band kept going. In 1990, they came out with Real Men, Wear Black. Then, in 1992, they released Emotional Violence. Between these albums, the band also released 2 greatest hits albums to remind fans of their past hits. In 1994, Cameo came out with In the Face of Funk. This album was released on their own label. It made it to number 10 on the R&B chart. After that, the band took a long break. They didn't release new music for 6 years. During that time, they put out more best of albums. Then, in 2000, they came back with a new album called Sexy Sweet Thing. This album didn't do as well as the others, but it still reached number 64 on the R&B chart. This was the last time they made it on the charts. The funk Stereotype made the group angry. The group did not like the way people talked about funk artists. They felt it was unfair and wrong. Many people saw funk musicians as wild, loud, dirty, and not smart. Some even thought they only wanted to party all the time. That made the group upset. They wanted people to know that they were smart, serious, and professional. One of the group members once said, "I refuse to be put in the same group as those wild funk people. I am a businessman. I'm smart. I speak clearly. I'm not less than human." He wanted to be seen for who he really was, not the false image others made up about funk musicians. He was also upset with white writers who wrote his words in a made-up street accent. "This is not some funny TV show," he said. "I know how to talk in a smart way. Writers should show that. When they write my words in street slang, it makes us look dumb. That's not fair to us as black artists." The group member became even more upset when people compared Cameo to rap groups. He did not like that. He thought many rap groups made black people look bad. "People see rap groups and think all black people act that way," he said. He even mocked the street accent some rappers used. "We don't all talk like that," he said. "Making that kind of music pulls us backward, not forward." Later that day, while having drinks, the group member shared more of his thoughts. He said most of the music at that time was no good. "This music has no meaning," he said. It's shallow and only about the surface. That's why people liked our album Word Up. It had something real to offer. But what made him most upset was seeing rich black artists forget about their roots. I could say names, but I won't, he said. You already know who I'm talking about. They have money now, so they think they don't need to care about black people anymore. They could use their voice to help, but they stay silent. He remembered one artist in particular. We used to hang out back when he had nothing. He played small bars in New York. Now he's famous and acts like he's white. That really bothers me. The group believed that black artists could be successful without losing who they are. We did it, he said. We have white fans, but we never forgot our people. We won't make them feel like they don't matter. Wayne Cooper was the lead singer. Many people thought Wayne Cooper died in a plane crash, but that was not true. He died from AIDS in 1984. It was a very sad moment for the band and their fans. Wayne had a strong voice, and many people said he made the music special. In 2001, a pop singer named Mariah Carey used a small part from Cameo's song Candy in her hit song Loverboy. That song became very popular and reached number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. Larry Blackmon from Cameo got credit for helping write the song. After that, the band became quiet for a while. They didn't make new music, but they released old songs in special albums. These albums had the best songs from the past. Some of the album names were The Hits Collection, Anthology, and Gold. This helped new fans learn about Cameo's music even when the band was not active. In 2016, the band returned to the stage in Las Vegas. They performed at the Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino. Their show lasted for a year. In 2019, Beyoncé used a part of Candy again in her version of the song Before I Let Go. This brought more attention to Cameo's music.
You know I thank God sun rises and shines.
Some of the band members kept working in music. Kevin Kendrick and Aaron Mills worked with the famous group Outkast. They helped with songs like Ms. Jackson and Prototype. Another former singer, John Kellogg, became a lawyer for music artists. He also worked as a teacher at a music college. Cameo started in the 1970s with a strong horn sound, like Parliament Funkadelic. In the 1980s, they added new sounds from pop, rock, hip-hop, and reggae. They also used more keyboards and drum machines. Their style changed, but their music always had energy and fun. Larry had people dancing, quoting his lyrics, and trying to copy his wild outfits. But when it came to real-life stuff, like, say, keeping up with rent, things apparently weren't hitting the same. So here's what went down. Larry was living in this spot in Atlanta, and at some point just stopped paying. No heads up, no plan. It was giving, I'll deal with it later energy. The company that owned the place clocked he was behind by about $6,000 and decided they were done waiting. Eviction notices hit, and eventually he left. But if they thought that was the end of it, whew. Nah. When they walked into the apartment, it wasn't just a little messy, it was straight up wrecked. There were holes in the walls like someone had gone a few rounds with them. Appliances were broken, and the floors covered in dog crap, like everywhere. Whoever was supposed to be cleaning up clearly clocked out a long time ago. It was less, this used to be a nice spot, and more, should we call a hazmat crew? The damage was so bad they said it had cost around $10,000 just to make the place livable again. So between that and the rent that never showed up, the final bill came out to $16,000, and they weren't trying to let that slide. It was a whole mess that had people doing double takes. Like Larry Blackmon, the guy who used to step on stage looking like funk royalty, now caught up over unpaid rent and dog destruction. Fans were stunned. It's not like this took away from what he did for music, but it definitely added another messy little footnote to the legacy. One minute you're the king of funky bass lines. Next thing you know, you're being dragged over property damage and back pay. Life comes at you fast.